If you are not struggling financially right now, then you need to consider yourself completely blessed. Like, don't even consider yourself. You are completely blessed. Like, every time I check my local mom group on Facebook, I see requests or people asking where they can get some financial assistance to pay utilities or assistance with rent. And it's concerning because these people are working full-time jobs and they just can't make things work right now. For example, this morning, a woman posted she's an RN working 2 jobs and still is struggling. I know we're all complaining about how expensive things are. For me personally, like my car insurance doubled in August. I was paying around $140 a month, and now I'm paying $280 for 2 vehicles and 1 driver. And I have never had a claim. There was no reason for the increase other than they just increased me. On top of that, Florida Power and Light rules the entire state of Florida now. They bought out Gulf Power, and since then, all I ever hear about from people is how astronomical their utility bills are. Everyone is trying to find ways to save money. But as soon as we save money in one area, something else goes up. So it's just kind of like we're sliding this scale back and forth, and it's actually like increasing. We're never saving, no matter how hard we try. Like, I stopped eating out with my kids. Obviously, eating out is super expensive, but I went almost a month no eating out, and it was still a struggle. And if you made it this far, I don't mean this to be like a pity party thing. I'm figuring it out. But last Friday, my birthday, my boss cut my hours in half. So yeah, I guess this is also like a PSA to people who aren't struggling right now. Don't be tone deaf, because you never know what's going on behind the scenes. If you start to notice behavior changes and lifestyle changes, I can promise you it's because people are being proactive, or I don't know, maybe reactive to their financial situation. It's just a mess.
Welcome to the Jaybefaunt channel. I am your host, James Fauntleroy. So good to see all of you here on this Saturday evening. The Jaybefaunt channel is available on all major podcast platforms, so go ahead, subscribe there. Also part of the Revolutionary Blackout Network, so you can find me there on Sundays and Thursdays. If you guys have not already, you guys can also subscribe to my Substack at jaybefaunt.substack.com. This alerts you to whenever I go live, upload clips, or write any articles, so you get your email notifications there instead of going straight from the tube. Basically, it's more reliable. Also, if you guys have not already, go ahead and give a quick like, share, and subscribe to this stream. This pushes me out into the algorithm, and this helps with the coverage of the news that I try to put out there. So thank you so very much to everybody who is watching so far. Good to see all of you watching and your bright and smiling faces. We have Bud Osaka saying Crystal and Grim. Gosh. Crystal and Grim Job are the epitome of PMC, Democrat gatekeeping, sheep herding, bootlickers. Whew, okay, let's get into it. Miguel H says, peace, good to see you. Javier is coming in. All right, with a wave coming in. V coming in saying peace. I love these hand signs that are all colored. That's really, really cool. Jack Hemming says, hey everyone, Miguel, Jaybefaunt, Javier, good to see you. Sean Miller saying, what the F, YouTube? Yo. Oh, I'm censored? Oh, well, I guess that's the way it is. All right, Samuel coming in saying, JB, Samuel, good to see you in the chat as well. CBC Voter coming in saying, yo, happy Saturday at JB. Good to see you. Happy Saturday to you. And we'd have Vicious E coming in and giving a wave. Hello, Vicious E. And to all the people that are watching on the Rockfin side, the people who are watching on the Rockfin side, the Rumble side, the Facebook side, the Twitch side, and the YouTube side, salutations and hello to all of you. So some of the things that we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about a couple things here today. But first, I do have a guest that I would like to introduce. She is an activist. She is also a union member and a Maoist activist as well. I would like to bring in Miss Valerie. Good to see you and have your introduction to my channel. Nice to have you.
Oh, it's great to be here. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, one of the things that I wanted to actually talk about in bringing you on is I know you from TikTok, right?
Oh yeah.
And you have done very well thought out and nuanced analysis of news as well as theory on TikTok. And I just want to know how did you get into the socio-political ideology that you're in right now? Because you identify as communist, if I'm correct.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Marxist-Leninist Maoist specifically.
Okay. Thank you so much. So how did you get there? Like, can you give us that 30,000 feet? Like, where did that come from? Because I'm curious to know how people, move into this space.
Oh, yeah, for sure. COVID was a big part. I started to
Oh,
become kind of like a democratic socialist because I was kind of like a no theory libertarian around then. The system sucks, but I don't know how to specifically voice that. So around
mhm.
that time, there was a lot of counter videos against the alt-right on YouTube, especially
Mhm.
post Gamergate. There was just more left-wing YouTubers started to come out, and they were like, "Hey, doesn't this COVID situation suck? Isn't our government not doing anything?" And I said, oh yeah, they're not." So I then started to get into like second thought, Hakim, and Hakim was really the person that I dipped my toes into Marxism, and I was like, oh, okay. So that was around 2020, leading up to the elections. So around
Okay.
election time, I started to become a self-identified Marxist, but I wasn't really that, you know, full with it. I wasn't that educated. And I really started to read more into Marx and Lenin when Joe Biden was clearly lying to the American people after saying we would
Yeah.
get $2,000 checks. COVID
Uh,
is going to be covered. We're going to pay attention to it. They just forgot about it and essentially just pushed it away. Just a lot of broken promises, and I started to question why that was, and that's when I learned that it was bourgeois democracies don't ever work out for the people, especially after reading Lenin. Then I started to read more and more, and then I was a Marxist-Leninist for the longest time. I was very pro-China. I still like China, like as a country itself. I just don't like the revisionist government that restored capitalism to the nation. Um, but for the
mhm.
longest time, doing that on TikTok. And then recently, I would say last year, about June, I had some anti-revisionist comrades really try to get me into the Maoist sphere and then really showed me and educated me on how these post Cold War states that even exist anymore are revisionist and most brought capitalism back to their nation. So that's how I became a Maoist. And yeah, so that was the long journey for that.
Okay, so as far as that is concerned, um, I'm sure there might be some disagreement between you and another comrade. I'm not sure if you know him. His name is Danny Haifong, but he would
Oh yeah.
contend that, yeah, he would contend that in his view that um, they're still China is still communist. It's just in its transitionary phase. But I think that's more of a more of a friendly debate, between comrades, really.
It is
So
because at the end of the day, I love to organize as Marxist-Leninists still because they still know that the dictatorship of the proletariat is the goal and a must. But yes, I would
yeah,
disagree with
absolutely.
him on that as well.
Yeah, but the
um,
thing is it's like with a lot of us on the left, people think that we're a monolith, and we're not.
oh,
And so
absolutely
I
not.
think that's what's important. I'm
hmm
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, oh, absolutely not. We got anarchists, we got Marxists, we got left communists, we have democratic socialists and social democrats, which are two separate things actually. So yeah, it's a whole
Yeah,
wide net.
yeah. But what would you say to people who go, but Valerie, why why not just have European style social democracies so that we can have both? We can have capitalism, and we can have a bit of socialism. We can have what we call a mixed economy, as somebody like David Pakman somehow, for some reason, advocates for. What would you say to that?
You would like China because China is like that. And also, for me, I would say just read a little bit of Lenin because Lenin also saw the writing on the walls. When you compromise with capital, at the end of the day, the capitalist will take back those compromises for the worker and actually eventually make life against the worker. I mean, you can look at Europe today. It's nowhere like how it was during the Cold War because Europe had to compete next to the Soviet Union, which was pushing, Medicare for all and like doing 4% of your monthly income to live in an apartment, which means when you made $0 in the Soviet Union, you would still live in an apartment and you wouldn't be just thrown on the street. They had to compete with that. So they were more like, I would say Europe like 1970s would have been nice, but since the fall of the Soviet Union, like what Lenin said, when you compromise the capital, they'll start taking those rights away that they gave the workers, and now they got healthcare over there essentially. Like, I don't know what else. Ask them about the rent crisis and the housing crisis over there. It's nowhere near what social democracy promises.
You know what? That actually makes me think about here in the United States because with the Soviet Union being the 400-pound or 800-pound bear in the room to use, their national animal, but to the 400-pound bear in the room was basically that, oh, look, housing is a human right in this country. Healthcare is a human right. Look, back in 1920, females could get an abortion, right?
Oh, yeah.
All these different things. Like, even the onset of racism was a near non-factor. I'm not going to say it wasn't a factor because, there's anti-blackness everywhere, right? But it's a lot lower. Even somebody like Paul Robeson, right, was able to say that he felt like a full human in the Soviet Union. So for me, it feels like, well, the United States saw that and were like, oh my God, as technology keeps ramping up and they're able to hear from the people there, if they hear what they have over there, they're going to want it here. And so we have to take that country, their system down in order so that we don't have to give up our riches as capitalists. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, it's like, and it's not even give up your riches, but have a more fair and equitable society, right? And so that's how it was. If you want to harp on that a little bit too.
I also want to add on that what you said was correct, but that's where their propaganda campaign also came in with the CIA and private corporations, which is why America has such an ad epidemic today. We've given birth to straight up propaganda and consumerism, and to make you, not do any of the research to figure out how these places are actually. Like, in my opinion, the DPRK isn't as bad as what people say. Is there some issues there? Yes, but if the propaganda literally says they don't eat, but they have to push trains. I'm sorry, but if you do not eat, you're not strong enough to push a train. You need energy like that. So the propaganda campaign here in the West is just very, very powerful. So that's what I would add on to that as well.
Yeah, I heard that they actually have cannabis fully legalized in DPRK too. So
yes, but it's weak. It's not like that California weed. It's there.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
good, but it's not like refined like how it is here. Like, it'll still get you high, but you got to be smoking it all day, like in the old days.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah,
say, what's Kim Jong-un up in there,
Oh yeah.
The reason why he always be looking serious, because he's up there with the moon. He's like,
yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So your story sounds very similar to a lot of my audience, especially when a lot of us went on to the Bernie train. And a lot of us started hearing about different programs like Medicare for All, tuition-free public college. And it's a lot of us, like for people like myself, I was like, that's actually can happen.
Yeah, I
We
forgot to
actually,
add that. I was a Bernie bro too. At the time, bro.
yeah,
I'm trans now. But yes.
yeah, no, look,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Bernie
cut you
Bay.
off.
Anyway,
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah. So I mean, that's my thing. I was just like, we can actually have these things. And then as I move towards the left, I'm like, wait, why aren't we funding this? You ever get those, like, you're just like looking at something like in a socialist country, you're like, why aren't we funding this?
Oh yeah, one of the biggest things for me during that time is when I learned Germany. If I remember correctly at the time, Germany paid like $400 in taxes for the whole year to have like healthcare, unlimited visits, medication. I was like, I'm paying $400 a month right now. What do you mean? What? And
$400 a year?
yeah, and that's helped me like become more
Girl.
radicalized. It's like they feed you these things over time. They're like, look what life could be like, and then you end up a Marxist within 2 election cycles.
Oh, and thank you for reminding me, because here's my question, because not question, but one of the things that I always, what pushed me further to the left from social democrat and democratic socialist is that when I learned why these social democracies have the gains that they have, it's not because they have these gains simply out of nowhere. The gains that they have to be able to have these thriving economies and to be able to give their citizens all these other things meant that somebody had to be exploited on the way down. And those somebodies end up being exploited were the people, especially in the global south.
Yes.
Example, 70%, I think it's 70% of France's electricity comes from nuclear power. And not all, but a huge portion of their uranium comes from Niger.
Mm-hmm.
Niger is a country where most of the people do not have electricity. My question is, if Niger is the one with all the uranium, why in the hell is France getting all that uranium from them and has all this electricity and everything modern while Niger is suffering in darkness?
And you
And
know the
come
answer
to
to that.
find out, it's all because it's a social democracy, meaning that they still have capitalism in place, which means somebody still gets shafted.
Yep.
And that's what I realized. I was like, maybe social democracy is just a cup with less poison than a cup full of poison, but it
Mhm.
still has poison in it.
Yep. Exactly. Imperialism 101. Like that's why I staunchly go against social democracy, and especially anybody with those views. Because at the end of the day, you are stealing resources from those countries, and it's like how are you good? Like how you want to put the label of yourself as like we're progressive? Are you? Because you're still doing colonialism within Africa. This isn't the 1700s anymore, and this is still happening. And they do this, and they go to sleep. Both the voters and the people perpetrating this, and they go to sleep like nothing's wrong, and they wonder why Europeans and white people wonder why oppressed nations call us the devil, because we are. You should see the crimes. I mean, you probably know to the people watching. You should see the crimes that we commit. It's insane. It really is. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah. Okay, so we invaded a country. Okay, this isn't about social democracy, but this is about America. We invaded a country, Iraq, which didn't even perpetrate 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do stuff like that, and we'll bomb them. We'll bomb them and bomb them, but we get mad at Russia for doing the same thing. We're calling them not. Can I say the end? We're calling them fascists from World War II. I'm not sure if I can say that on YouTube. Fascists from World War II when we have arguably done worse. And
Yeah, you
France
can say
likes to.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Well, France likes to flex that it's so progressive, but you should see what it has done to the people of these African nations, especially that are under the CFA franc. But yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at what is going on in Haiti, right?
Yes.
Because it was brought out from the gray zone that the CIA was actually instrumental in causing a coup to happen in France. I'm sorry, in Haiti back in 2004. And why was it? Because Aristide, President Aristide, was trying to get the reparations that Haiti paid to France back because they weren't supposed to pay those reparations. How do you pay reparations to the slave masters? How do you pay reparations to the enslavers?
That is insane. Like that is reverse. That I I didn't even know that. Like you what you told me is like brand new news. So they have to pay for their own oppression to the slave
Yes.
masters.
And in fact,
Oh my God.
is that's like you robbing me, and then after I stop from you robbing me, you hand me a bill and say, "Oh, you owe me $1,000 more for the stopping of robbing you."
You left me a bruise, so you got to pay for my medical bills. Actually.
The hell?
Oh my God.
Like what?
You know what?
Are
Maybe
you
we should.
kidding? Like
Maybe we should let France fight Russia. It's insane. I didn't even know that's how. You know what? We need a world revolution against France itself, in my opinion.
Girl,
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I did take.
I'll send you that link.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I
have some notes here from the video you sent me. Do we want to talk about any of those at all? Because I did have some points.
Yeah, we're about to get into that in a second.
Cool.
So one of the things that I wanted to show everybody is that Valerie will be with me for some of the segments. So we're going to be getting into that. So thank you so very much for joining me for the show to talk about these news stories. Yeah, definitely. So what are we talking about? I have to put, oh, well, it appears that JB has been slipping. Yes. Don't catch me slipping. You caught me slipping. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna get these up really quick. But yeah, so there are some recent stories that have happened. Well, recent stories. It's really just a tragedy that has happened over the last day that we're going to talk about. To get uploaded. Yeah, there we go. So one of the final stories we're going to be talking about is R.I.P. to a legend. For anybody who does not know who Akira Toriyama was, we're going to talk about it. I want to get into this and how he was very influential in pop culture in the world, as well as how he was basically the animator for a lot of our childhoods. So we're going to talk about that. Then our first story we're going to be talking about, if it wasn't for the Gaza tragedy, we're going to talk about this. It looks like to me, Breaking Points didn't get the point, and we're going to talk about it. So let's get into it right now.
I was actually, when I was watching that, just a small comment, I was trying to decide if they were against Biden or not. Like it just kept doing this. I was like, what's the vibe of this? Like it was very interesting, but I wrote down a lot. I got a lot of thoughts. So
yeah, you got a lot to say. Oh boy, because there's some things. So I'm going to share this really quick because this was in a tweet that people clipped, and some people may say, well, you didn't get it in context. So to be fair, we're going to share this clip first, and then we're going to go to the full video to get the full context. So let me share my screen really quick. And this is with Crystal Ball and Ryan Graham. So I want you guys, I'm not even going to read the tweet. I want you guys to gauge what was said and what it means here.
It is an incredible tragedy because, before Gaza, I was out there saying, listen, it's not just a lesser two evils vote. if you look just at antitrust and you look just at labor,
And
like
just at wages, like wages now are growing faster than prices, and they have been
if you
for several
if you
years,
care about
and especially at the lower end.
if you care about checking corporate power, the people he put in place in key, positions have done a great job, and they've been aggressive, and it's been groundbreaking, and it's been a real break from the Clinton-Obama Democratic Party, and obviously wildly better than, Trump had a bunch of union busters in at the end. It is an incredible tragedy because you.
So let me share what the tweet said. The tweet said, Crystal Ball and Ryan Graham are pivoting back to Joe Biden. They both stated that Americans have extra cash in their pockets and Joe Biden's economy is great. If it wasn't for Gaza, they would be defending Biden. So thank you to Devin Denton for this. I'm going to, it sounds bad from just that clip. Would you agree, Valerie?
Yes, very.
Okay. From the actual clip from Breaking Points, it's actually kind of worse.
Oh yeah, this is the first time I ever heard of him. So
yeah, it's actually kind of worse. So let me share this really quick because it's, like Donald Trump would say, it's not good. It's not good. Oh man. So let me come here. So let me make sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm at the right spot. Just want to make sure I'm in the right spot. 77. All right, we'll go just a little bit before. All right, let me share the screen. All right, so this is Breaking Points reacts Biden's campaign State of the Union. So they're reacting to the State of the Union address, okay? Those of you who were with me on Thursday evening with KD and Sabiha, you guys saw our reaction. And now here is what their thoughts are post State of the Union address. Let's get the full context.
Status quo of today, where the base is able to kill a border bill. The problem, and I mean, there's myriad reasons why, it's maybe what this is. I actually want to know what you guys think. For some reason, we haven't seen the ability for the left to exercise that same level of political power until, look, maybe today's the breaking point, right? Because we have uncommitted that actually is a genuine political force. And I mean, I think that the calculus, and this is where I probably defend the two of you and have stuck up for you also for when my centrist Biden fans get very upset at the things that you say is like,
you could just say
but
Marshall.
Trump would, that's right. Yeah. It's not just Marshall. Is they're like, yeah, but Trump would be so much worse. I'm like, yeah, but they're trying to extract a pound of flesh to show that they can. And it's like that just hasn't really happened a lot with the political left in this country.
There is
that's the issue.
Knee-jerk assumption that really started with Bill Clinton.
Yeah, right.
That the way to win is to kick the left and posture like to adopt a lot of the Republican position, like on welfare and on NAFTA and all kinds of other things.
Biden is the symbol. He's the poster candidate.
That is his ideological
very
bearing.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I keep Mark Lamont Hill said this with regards to Israel and how they have been so clueless about what a problem this is for them electorally, which has been obvious from the very beginning. But if you've been in Washington 50 years, in that 50 years, it has never been a political problem to be too pro-Israel. And so him and his little bubble of people who have similar 50-year careers in Washington, D.C. and all of these things baked in, they're just not able to adjust to any other assumption. They're not able to realize that there are certain areas where actually the left-wing position is incredibly popular.
Valerie, just a question to you in regards to what Crystal said there. Is it just because somebody like Joe Biden was an establishment politician, is it just because, oh, he's an establishment Democrat, so that's why the left gets stepped on day in and day out? Or is it deeper than that?
Oh, it's very deep. Left-wing opposition has been crushed since the 1920s. I would even say even before the 1920s. There was the two major Red Scares, and we're in the third one right now. It's always been the status quo to step on the left, and what they'll do is they'll gaslight you into voting for them this round, saying, "Oh, don't worry, we'll get you that $15 minimum wage." And then when they vote, when you actually vote them in, they only give it to federal employees. Most of us aren't federal employees, last time I checked. It's insane. And going back to the 2020 elections, when they said we could push Biden left, where has that even happened here? Like, he was union busting for the longest time. She was even talking about it in that video, that he is better on unions than Trump. It's like, didn't we have a whole year where Biden was busting those unions and stopped the railroad workers? Like, what are you talking about? It's impossible to move Biden left due to the lack of commitment within principles of, like, leftism. All right, like, you cannot move a neoliberal or a liberal left. They are capitalist. Left in itself is a progression from the status quo, and the status quo is imperialism, colonialism, capitalism. How can we move as established Democrat left? I don't think we'll get this answered ever in my life. Vosh might want to answer that. He thinks to have all the answers to that, but I don't think we can answer that. I don't think that'll ever be answered. Actually, I'll answer right now. You can't move him left.
Yeah, that's impossible. Like, Biden couldn't move to the left if he was doing the cha-cha slide.
He couldn't. He could stumble to the left, but then he'd stumble back to the right.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. All right, let's continue.
And you would benefit from adopting that position. Now, I do want to give some credit to the economic portion of this speech, which I thought was well crafted.
Was it? Wait, hang on, Valerie. Hold up. Do you think that Joe Biden's speech was well crafted for the State of the Union address? I'm not sure if you actually caught it though. It was a dumpster fire.
Actually, yeah, I watched it all. I would say it was well crafted for theater of bourgeois politics, but when you're looking at it to facts and fiction, it was all fiction. Now that I actually have finally like a union job, I can actually live comfortably, and that's taken years of trying to find something, having jobs just lay me off, this, that, and whatever. And I'm extremely lucky to be in the position I'm at, because I see everybody else around me, even with high degrees and union jobs, not doing so well. So I don't know where this great economy is that Biden was talking about, where it was, I guess he gave a great speech. When I was there, I didn't see it, to be honest. When I heard it, I was like, "Ooh, this is a good lie." Oh, he's keeping it going. Another lie. Get it?
Yeah, he's sticking them. Lie number one. Lie number two. Lie number three. There we go.
Oh my God.
That's the show we know. All right.
And latest comment, actually, the establishment that might be moving right or left, but a lot of the people are. Yes. And okay, so we keep demanding for a ceasefire here in the United States, while our country is the one that's funding Israel. I don't think the Soviets or the Allies in World War II called for a ceasefire to end, the genocide going on within German occupied spaces. They went in and actually stopped it.
Ooh.
I'm not saying, go to war with the government, but what I'm saying is, at some point, just protesting saying ceasefire isn't going to do what we think it is. We have to, like what some of the people are doing at the border from aid getting into Gaza. They're standing in front of it. Maybe we need to stand in front of the military aid that's going to Israel.
Y'all see why I brought Valerie on. You see why I brought Valerie on. I haven't done one of these close-ups in a while. So, I had to do it.
I love it.
Yeah. Go ahead, take a screenshot. It's good. All right, so let's get it back into wait. Katie was with me on Thursday night when we were covering the State of the Union. Katie says that old man pulled 15 million jobs out of his ass. Oh my God. I was like 15 million. Like I was like,
15 million?
Where the hell did he get 15 million from?
I haven't seen these.
I was like,
To be honest, I actually lost a
That's how
job
we were.
recently.
yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Because Miss Ball, really?
I thought it emphasized, I thought it was good. I mean, it was very like made in America. It was very sort of like economic nationalist in a way that I think lands in a real populist way.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time talking about specific proposals to help make housing more affordable, both for homeowners, aspiring homeowners, and renter. He talked about using antitrust to go after these big landlord companies that are basically rigging the markets and use it. He didn't get into the whole algorithm situation, but we actually covered it on the show this week.
My rent's gone up $200. I don't know where that antitrust law stuff's even coming in. Oh my God. You know what? She's doing what Biden did too during that. She's just pulling stuff. She's just pulling it. Because I have never. Everybody's rent that I know has gone up.
Look, I literally had to on Revolutionary Blackout Network. I literally had to raise $5,000 to get help because they raised our rent $250 for 1 year. I am disabled and my mother is elderly. And this happened while Biden was in office. So, and this happened 2021, I think it was. No, 2022. This happened in 2022. So when people go, oh, but he's going to be doing antitrust laws. He's going to push antitrust laws.
Wait.
Do you really expect Joe Biden to push antitrust laws on Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street, Blackstone? Do you really expect him to do that? Valerie, please sense into this.
Expecting Biden to do anything of holding oppressive people accountable. I mean, he's allowing a genocide to happen. So I think that's your answer. Because it's easy to stop. Oh, I'm sorry.
What?
I said it's easy to stop. All America has to do, because we keep demanding a ceasefire as our government, all you have to do is stop funding Israel. You want them to stop. Stop funding them. They'll stop. When they know the money machine's done, they'll stop because they can't keep it going.
Like the kids say, facts. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's continue.
Yeah.
Like, using the antitrust division to try to crack down on price fixing in the rental market, which is increasingly a huge issue. Yeah, I thought there were some genuinely good things there. It's hard for me, though, it's just hard for me to really give him credit on any of this when Gaza and what's happening there just looms so large over all of
What do you
it.
think, Ryan, about about this pound of the ability for the left to exercise power?
Well, fundamentally, one
Yeah.
problem, the heart is so much bigger in the United States than the heart.
Why is that, Mr. Grimm? That's my question. Why is it that the left is so much smaller than the hard right? Because look, you have hard lefties right here, right now. And let me he said something that let me go back just a second. I'll go back just a few seconds.
though, it's just hard for me to really give him credit on any of this when Gaza and what's happening there just looms so large over all of it.
What do you think, Ryan, about
I
this pound of flesh, like the ability for the left to exercise power?
Well, I think fundamentally one problem is that the hard right is so much bigger in the United States than the hard left, or whatever you want to call them. Like just the structural and the material conditions that exist here in the United States do not set up a situation where you're going to have a big left. Like you had one in the New Deal because you just came out of a Great Depression and the U.S. was not yet the global empire, like riding astride across the whole planet. And the success of the left out of the 30s and 40s was their own undoing. And so,
what about the 60s
The
and
success
70s?
of the left was our own undoing.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off right there. I didn't think the Black Panthers were existing in the 30s. I thought the FBI killed them, and I would say during the Cold War.
Does McCarthyism ring a bell to somebody like Mr. Graham? Because if my history lessons serve me correctly, is that the left continued to grow, but then they demonized anybody that was further left than somebody like FDR. They basically punished and jailed and persecuted the left out of existence for daring to challenge capital. So was it the left's own fault, or was it that the right used the levers of power and control by the state to suppress us?
And they wonder why they have such a hard right issue. It's because the left wing people that they suppressed aren't around to stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh boy, that rubbed me the wrong way. I was just like, it sounds revisionist to me. It just really does.
It's straight up historical revisionism.
Yeah. And Ryan Graham is the Washington bureau chief of The Intercept and a journalist.
They just don't have the numbers. Like it's you can do some tactical things here or there, but you're gonna be stuck.
Oh, we'll see.
But despite that, the great tragedy of this genocide, well, not the great tragedy, like it's many layers down, but one of the tragedies of the genocide that Biden is overseeing is that it has just stained his entire legacy of economic populism, which, as Kyle was saying, like before the speech, he would be defending, I would be defending. There's so much that you can say about it. The fact that prices jumped and are still high and rent is still a huge problem is itself kind of a cloud over everything else that he's done. But everything else he's done is not nothing. Like low unemployment rate, labor militancy, cash in people's pockets. Like the economy overall in the last 3 years, a result of the kinds of things that the left has been pushing for years.
Is this economy what we have been pushing for, Valerie?
They didn't even get the infrastructure bill over here in Iowa, so I don't know what economy. I think that was supposed to come after they built the roads here, but no, we still got the worst bridges in the state. No, I haven't seen the economy that these people okay, so the closest thing that exists right now that I would see was a prospering economy would probably been what China was doing. I haven't seen that here. I haven't seen no rails. I haven't seen making anything affordable like houses, cars, food. I stole half of it, but I still spent $240 at the grocery store the other day. And I had to skip scanning a bunch of them. I'm not gonna say where. Feds, you looking? Go home. But yeah, it's insane. I don't see this economy that they're talking about. Even we have record sign or record times of people not even paying their car payments. Like those are behind as a nation, like nationwide, those are behind. It's insane. So I don't know where this economy is. I mean, I bet you the economy is good if you have like $100,000 at least. And even then,
Look, I'll put it this way. Crystal Ball and Ryan Graham are affluent. I'm not. I know sure as hell as I'm not. Valerie, are you?
hold on, let me check real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no cash.
Yeah, your pockets are just as empty as mine.
Yeah, I haven't found any cash.
Yeah, I ain't standing up because I don't want you all to see my drawers. But but my thing is, this is a family show. But the issue is, I think there is a major disconnect because you will have, and this is not to attack somebody like a Crystal Ball or a Ryan Graham, right? But this is to say that there is a huge disconnect when you're saying the same talking points that someone like a David Pakman, because I had on Eddie Liger-Smith from Midwestern Marks on a couple months ago, and we were talking about what David Pakman said in response to a Trump supporter. And the Trump supporter was actually talking about how that the economy was horrible. And my thing is, I would argue that the economy is just as bad under Trump as it is under Biden because they're cut from the same cloth. People like myself were catching hell, just like now, we were catching hell from between 2016 and 2020. We were still catching hell between 2008 and 2016. We were still catching hell in my house from 2020. I'm sorry, from 2000 to 2008. So it does not matter because the thing is that things have been progressively getting worse no matter the party that's in power. I feel like it's almost like a being a stenographer for the Democratic Party, and yet you call yourself the left. It just feels like a farce.
It is. Essentially, if you do call yourself a Democrat and a very proud one, you are not left wing. And anybody who is in the left who is helping it, you're honestly just wasting your time. One of the biggest things that we have people here definitely saying vote for Biden is Project 2025. Now, as a trans woman, a trans Mexican woman, does that scare me? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I will not vote and show the Democratic Party that no matter what they do, they can allow Israel to commit a genocide, that they'll get my vote. They don't get that. If Project 2025 is the result, then that's our fight to have. And we will do it together. And we will survive. But I will not show Biden and the Democrats that they can just do genocide, lie to us, and they get my vote every single time.
Yeah.
The kids aren't playing no more. The kids, we're done. We're done with this. It took me 2 election cycles to become a Marxist. I'm surprised this didn't happen to people like who lived in the US their whole lives. It's insane. Absolutely.
No, absolutely. Here's my thing. It's just like, for instance, for all the pink washing that they do and talking about, well, if you were in Gaza, then they will want to throw you off the top of a building. They will want to chop your head off, blah, blah, blah. They want to do it here. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. And one of my favorite things that I like to point to people is like, oh, crazy, they want to throw me off a roof. Oh, the people that with Palestinian flags want to throw me off the roof. They never say anything bad to me, especially in these discourses about it. You know who do? It is usually the Israeli flag calling me a man and a chick with a. So it's like, maybe that's just projection from your own views, my friend. Maybe you want to throw me off a roof and not Hamas.
Yeah, of course. And then on top of it, all the people, like for instance, Westboro Baptist Church, does that ring a bell? Like, come on now.
And there's even more hate churches. There's somebody that I watch on YouTube, Dead Domain, who has infiltrated a hate church that talked about trans people and eradicating them. And the investigation that they did is insane. These churches are more popular than what most people think. Like, they're out there, and it's not just Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of them. And so this is why we don't stand with genocide, because we stand for the liberation of peoples everywhere, including Palestinians, because there's a lot of Palestinians out there. Not all Palestinians are Muslim, by the way, just in case nobody told you. I'm talking to the audience, not you.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, just in case nobody told you, not all Palestinians are Muslim. There are some atheist Palestinians. There are some Christian Palestinians. By the way, Israel bombed the church. And there are some Jewish Palestinians. How many synagogues in Palestine were destroyed? Okay. So when it comes to that, and I don't want to get too stuck on the pink washing, but when it comes to actually advocating for the liberation of people, then we're going to stand with all people. It's just like the people of Uganda. Just because their government does some horrible anti-LGBTQ legislation doesn't mean I feel like the people of Uganda deserve to suffer.
Exactly.
So,
and something to keep in mind, especially with the Uganda situation, Russia, and even now America with Project 2025, most of the world is still pretty accepting of queer people. And like the most accepting that we've ever been in the history. So you just got to keep that in mind. Like, we're going to keep being more accepted. We just got to keep fighting. And like our predecessors before, we're going to do great. And we're going to make sure the kids after us are going to be taken care of.
Yeah. We're just going back to the way our indigenous people have been. You know, we're just going back to, if you want to call yourself a traditionalist, then we'll call ourselves traditionalists in the indigenous sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Make America indigenous again.
Please. That's something that always get thrown at me too. They're like, oh, you're for decolonization. How about we do that to America? I'm like, I actually want that. What do you mean? That too.
All right, let's continue.
It is headed in the right direction, but you're not going to find anybody who's willing to like celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, how much would I have in another timeline without Gaza been talking about Sean Fain being there?
Yeah, you're
and
right. Yeah.
the union wins and the
it's kinda
pro
sad.
acts getting
We
a
didn't-
call out
yeah.
and you know all of that. But it's just like, you know, it is an incredible tragedy because, you know, before Gaza, I was out there saying, listen, it's not just the lesser two evils vote. If you look just at antitrust and you look just at labor,
And
like,
just at wages, like wages now are growing faster than prices, and they have been
like if you care about
and especially the lower end.
If you care about checking corporate power, the people he put in place in key, you know, positions have done a great job, and they've been aggressive, and it's been groundbreaking, and it's been a real break from the Clinton-Obama Democratic Party, and obviously wildly better than, you know, Trump had a bunch of union busters in at the NLRB, and the antitrust was not doing anything different than what was being done before. So those pieces are undoubtedly better under Biden. You know, I don't think that they've done a great job selling it or whatever. It's long term, while you have a lot of pain for people that is very present and very real right now. And on the economic front, you know, I've long said that dropping the economic pieces of Build Back Better and allowing all the COVID social safety net stuff to expire. I mean, that was a huge moral disaster. It was a huge political disaster. And it's a big, and I think undersold part of why his economic approval ratings are so incredibly low. I just want to.
One of the things that I also want to tackle is a lot of times people will say, well, we just have to get the messaging right. What is wrong with that when they say, oh, we just have to get the messaging correct?
Messaging for like left-wing movements?
For the economy. Basically saying
the economy.
Yeah, when they say, "Oh, well, we just have to get the messaging correct. We just have to advertise Joe Biden's wins, economic wins." What would you say to somebody like Crystal Ball who says something like that?
Your white supremacy is showing because there's people dying in Gaza. Like, I don't care. If Biden can give me healthcare for all right now. I don't care. Just end the genocide. That is the biggest thing going on right now in the world. There is also the war in Ukraine, but the biggest thing is literally like Zelensky said there was about three. I think this is a lie, but there was about 31,000 people that have died in Ukraine. I think of like personnel. Isn't the civilian casualties already 30,000 in Gaza, and it hasn't been going on 2 years? It's good. The numbers are just going to show it's going to keep going up. So I don't care about the economic message. First of all, this sucks. Neoliberalism is failing. It's been failing since Reagan. I don't know why people. The only reason why it's existed so long is because the Soviet Union died. Neoliberalism in the economy works against the workers all the time. So it doesn't matter about any of these messagings for the wins because they're all just lies. Essentially what they're saying is, how can we deceive voters into voting for Biden in some pseudo good economy that we have? And again, it's just lying, 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 because the economy isn't good. And to then say, let's ignore all the bad things. No, it's white supremacists to ignore the bad things. Just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's a very bad thing. I've seen a child being carried by his dad in a bag, and the dad couldn't even cry. And the child was not together. He couldn't even cry because he was so devastated and shocked that he lost everything. And how are we supposed to ignore that? I cannot vote for that. There's no messaging to be fixed. And the genocide.
Yeah. And even if that genocide weren't happening, let's say hypothetically that the Palestinian resistance didn't make the move that they did on October 7th, and that never happened. And we're focused primarily on just the economy. Just that alone is a losing situation for Joe Biden. It is just exacerbated by him funding a genocide. I'm going to share this really quick because, and then we'll finish up with what Crystal and Ryan are saying. But I want to share this as well. Shout out to Gritty is the Way on Twitter.
I love the name.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this.
In 1983, making $30,000 a year is equivalent
to making $164,000 a year in 2023 or 2024. Yes, that's right. And in addition, the middle class isn't dying, the middle class is dead. In 1950, the average household was making $3,000. The average house cost $5,000. So it wasn't too hard. You about 2.5 times the price of your annual salary would be what you could do to afford a car and a house. Nowadays, people are making an average of $74,000 in household income, and the average house is $450,000. So in order to be considered middle class, the bare minimum of middle class in America right now in 2024, you would have to make $174,000. And that's
meaning all of us are broke. All y'all who are watching right now are broke.
Yep.
Yep.
not doing well.
We all been broke this whole time.
in 19
Yeah. You know, and I said it, and people will look at me like I'm crazy for saying this. But if you're making $70,000, $80,000 a year, you're broke. I don't care what you. No, you broke. You broke, boo boo. You ain't got it, right? That master's degree ain't doing crap for you right now.
Most of them aren't even working in the degree that they went to school for. It's insane.
Yeah. And so there are people who are literally going, I don't know how I'm supposed to survive. And it's not just a small subset of people, right? And I'm going to be sharing these videos to prove that it is worse than what people like Crystal Ball and Ryan Grimm are showing. I'm going to share. Let me share this as well. All right. Let me share my screen here. All right.
I'm gonna tell you how we are here in the United States of America. You know you're in the United States of America when you can buy this little amount of food and it costs you what it just cost me. I bought a bottle of coconut water, 2 things of mangoes, 2 things of blackberry, 2 things of raspberries, a thing of blueberries, some seaweed, and some seeded grapes for $70. What's really sickening about that right there is that that is an extremely healthy diet, and it cost me $70 here in the United States of America. For that same $70, you could fill that whole table up with toxic processed chemicals in bags, boxes, and cans. Welcome to the new America.
Your thoughts?
It's always going to be the inevitability of capitalism that would end like this. But yes, this is also the new America, even though America was always destined to get here. It's, I guess I always go back to always an anti-capitalist stance because it could be much better. This is actually just sad to see. That was $70.
Yep.
He should have stole that. He should have just ran off with it. Probably pay like if he got caught by the police, the ticket would probably be cheaper. Oh my God. No, we're not okay. We're not okay. We haven't been okay for a long time. I don't know what. You know what the issue is? We do this stuff between like a 4-year period. We're always going to the next election. What is these 4 years? This, that, whatever. It's like, what about for the rest of our lives and the future of the kids? Like Reagan's policies, yeah, it got you a boat at the time and it got you a car, but it gets your kids a job that doesn't even match to their degree, can't even pay them a living wage, and they have to rent to landlords, these leeches that just keep raising the price up every year. It's how could people be so content with this? This is just, it doesn't have to be like this at all. So
No,
I guess what I'm getting
you're
around to it
absolutely
is
correct.
we need to stop working with the 4-year periods, because the things that really brought liberation for the masses and got them their, needs, resources, got them liberation was a strong communist party led by a vanguard party that really liberated the masses that did not participate in bourgeois politics. Honestly, at this point, we're wasting our time within the bourgeois politic frame rate. How about we prove to our government that the people are done and we're actually going to start taking care of each other? Since you won't do it, we'll just stop paying your taxes. We'll just start funding our own communities. It's like what we have to do. It's absolutely insane. Do we keep giving money to these criminals, or do we actually start taking a stand? Do we keep voting for these criminals, or do we tell them no? This is when Biden was talking about the inflection point with the Ukraine situation, Israel, and because he also believes that China will make a move on Taiwan. I used to be against that, but the signs are kind of there that there's going to be conflict between China, Philippines, and the U.S. In my opinion, this is why the U.S. doesn't want to put forces in there. But he said we're at an inflection point, and we should ask that for ourselves too. We're at an inflection point as the masses of the world in the United States. Are we really going to do the same thing over and over again, or are we going to try to make some change?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like it's people are already broken. We've been broken for a while. It's just it feels like there are more people just realizing that the system has broken us. I want to share this as well. I'm going to share the entire video because this is a long one, but I just want people to get a semblance of what people are feeling now. So let me share this as well.
I'm having a day, or I'm having a life. I don't know, man. I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm sitting outside work, crying my eyes out in my vehicle, because I can't function anymore. I don't understand anymore. I don't understand how I make $34 an hour and I can't function. I can't function. I can't pay my bills. I can't even literally keep gas in my car to get to work 3 days a week because I can't afford it. Like I get paid and it goes to car, mortgage, a couple little bills, and then be $8 in food for the week. And I literally only buy groceries when my daughter's home now. On the weeks that she goes with her dad, which is Monday to Monday, what I've started doing is I buy a loaf of rye bread and I work really hard to keep that one loaf of rye bread lasting me the whole week. And I eat peanut butter. So I'll eat peanut butter toast whenever I'm hungry. And it's been fine. It's been working just fine. I'm good with that. That's fine. But last week, I guess I was a little extra hungry a couple days. So I had toast in the morning and toast in the evening, which that's not in my budget. So I ran out of bread on like the Thursday or even the Friday. I don't know. Either way, at 47, I had to see if my mother could buy me a loaf of bread so that I could eat for the weekend before my daughter got home.
But the economy is doing better.
Cash in pockets is what we were told. This is something that also they try to get away with here in the United States is they give you like a wage like that, $34 an hour, and then say only 3 days a week you can work. This is how they also prevent you from getting benefits. This is the state of the United States. It's just a business. It's not even a country for the people. It's just, you know, the cyberpunk game, we're in that. We're gonna have trauma teams soon, where only the rich can pay for healthcare. Wait, actually, we're already in that. So
I had some more videos, but due to the sake of time, I'm not gonna be able to play them. But all the videos that I'm playing, I want you to notice something. Every single person that I'm playing is white. Meaning that if they're having it hard, what do you think the people who are constantly impoverished also do to our identity, which is also tied because some people don't like this, but identity is also tied to class. Right? Just ask the young man who got suspended in Texas because of his hairstyle, because it's a black hairstyle. Let's be real. So imagine how we're doing, right? This is why last week when I had reparations activists on, we were talking about reparations. We talk about how socioeconomically, those of us who are descendants of slaves here in this country, we're not doing okay. So if they're having a hard time, if white people are having a hard time, how do you think the rest of us are doing? So
I've still yet to see this booming economy.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things that it feels like, it's like, don't pee on my head and tell me it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
You know? All right, let me get this over with.
Expire. I mean, that was a huge moral disaster. It was a huge political disaster. And it's a big and I think undersold part of why his economic approval ratings are so incredibly low. I just want to mention Jeff Stein flagged some of the economic policy that was in the State of the Union, highlighting manufacturing, auto construction boom, which is real. reducing drug costs by taking on big pharma. I mean, that was kind of like they did a
Yeah,
little bit there.
It's a kind of fake, but whatever.
2 million
Yeah.
new affordable homes, $5,000 per year for first-time home buyers, universal preschool, Pell Grants, cutting student debt, expanding ACA subsidies. So, I mean, some of those things are very neo-lib, but it is this kind of like populist economic focus
Chips
that,
Act you talked about.
yeah, that would have given people something to focus on, hold on to, highlight, if not overshadowed by
And
the
yet,
wars.
yeah.
he started.
People, look, hang on. Miss Ball, you are basically saying that the only reason why people are upset with Joe Biden is because of the genocide going on in Gaza. What I would contend to you is saying that it is not only the genocide in Gaza, but it's the genocide in Gaza and the economy. Because what is one of the number one things that people say? People are saying that our money is going to Israel. Why are they so focused on the money? It's not necessarily because the principle of the money going there. It's because we don't have shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. I talked about earlier today how my mom was at the grocery store trying to go shopping with our collective food stamps, and she didn't have enough to get everything, so she started to put some stuff back, and a generous lady came out of nowhere and paid for our the carts full of food for us. What if that lady wasn't there? Some food that we had got, we wouldn't have right now. Because my food stamps and her food stamps don't cover it. So when people go, well, we just have to, it's just a messaging issue. No, that's why the title of this stream is Biden got 99 problems and Gaza is one. It's not but one. No, it is one. Meaning that's a lot of issues, not just Gaza. Yes, it is one of the primary issues. But even if you were to take a magic wand and bling, the genocide in Gaza wasn't happening, Biden would still be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, am I wrong, Valerie?
You are not wrong. And also to add insult to injury, not only we don't have money for the American people, or we do, we just don't give it to them. We're also building a harbor in Gaza to bring them aid because Israel doesn't allow food to come through their land corridors to Gaza. So now, instead of just telling Israel no, we are now trying to find another way to spend money that we don't have. Oh, that's where the money is for the infrastructure bill. It's to that goddamn harbor. It's not even. It was never for the United States. It was actually for that. Huh. Okay, I just figured that out. You actually opened my eyes to more. Like I've known that the economy was an issue, but showing me those videos and your speech right there, I have been just harping in on Gaza more than anything, and it's actually a lot more than that. It's also him and his blatant racism with the Republicans for the border obsession. He's still building the Trump wall. I bet most people don't even know that. He is actually helping. Oh, and the money's going towards the wall. It's all coming to me. Yes. So, yeah, he does have 99 problems, and I would add 3 zeros after that, actually. He has 99,000 problems.
Yeah. And let me share this as well, because there are some articles that these have been happening in the Biden years. Biden can say whatever he wants. This is out of the Tampa Bay Times. How corporate investors are taking over Tampa Bay's neighborhoods. Experts say the outsized impact of just a handful of companies can squeeze individual buyers out of the housing market. And look, that's what's going on here. Is that we literally are now unable to have wealth because these corporations are now buying up all the homes. right?
Mhm.
And there's a piece at towards the end.
That's
mm,
crazy.
yeah. So, and okay. It says since 2018, companies have brought more homes in census tracts with median household incomes below county averages. They also purchase at a faster clip in majority Black neighborhoods, which community residents say have further elevated the already inflated housing costs. So this is also them going after the most disenfranchised already and then buying up these houses, and they're not going to sell these houses. The money is in renting them out instead of us actually being able to buy homes. So therefore, our ability to actually own a home is further taken away from us, not just Black people, but working people in general,
Mm-hmm.
because we no longer have that wealth to be able to build up. Now,
Actually, keep
sorry, go
going.
ahead.
No, keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So let me share this as well, because that's from the Tampa Bay Times. Here's the Orlando Sentinel, right? The Orlando Sentinel. Investment firm snaps up homes in Orlando or Metro Orlando, driving up prices. I live in Orlando. Says 10 home buying investors in 2021 in Metro Orlando were tied to firms in the single-family rental house business, leading the one expert to worry about the pressure of such deals putting on the real estate market. Says an Orlando Sentinel review of data from the property appraiser for Orange, Osceola, and Seminole counties showed the growing trend of existing homes as opposed to new construction brought by single-family rental companies. It happened during a year of bidding wars that drove median prices through the roof and locked out individuals and families seeking to buy new homes. And so, and a lot of these are owned by companies like Blackstone, right? And so look at this. It says top 10 investors bought 3,496 homes. Known single-family rental companies accounted for 3,330 sales, 12% of the total of 28,295 homes sold to investors. So they're buying up homes and then they're not letting them go because there's more money in doing the renting. And that's what they're trying to make money in.
That's insane. It's like, and these people, they'll see this go down and they'll lose their minds over state-sanctioned apartments and housing for everybody. They're like, oh no, that's too much authoritarianism. I don't like that. Corporation houses, America. I like this. It's depressing. I'm so sorry that's happening in your area, and it's probably happening in mine too. I don't know of these corporations that are buying stuff up, but I tell you what, the houses here are overpriced for Iowa. Damn. Soon
Yeah.
we'll have Arasaka cars, Arasaka housing. Oh, it's gonna be crazy. This is sad.
And then yep, absolutely. Let me share this. This is also a lengthy article, but it says investors bought 26% of the country's most affordable homes in the fourth quarter, the highest share on record. This came out on Valentine's Day of last month. So when people talk about that we're losing wealth, this is happening. And it's not just Joe Biden. This is Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, George W. Bush. This is all their policies. Bill Clinton, H.W. Bush. This is just a culmination over the years. So when people are telling us, oh, well, things are getting better for us. No, they're not. That is manipulation to letting us think that, oh, well, one side is actually better than the other one. In fact, it's not.
And it's really, this is what I mean by gaslighting, where they tell you the economy is doing good. Then you start doing self-reflection and you're like, am I not good enough then? Do I not find the good jobs? Is this my issue? This is the issue with capitalism and individualism and a bourgeois democracy. They do this to make you feel bad and keep you down. And it's like, why should I do anything else? And so it's like they want you to feel abused, so you abuse yourself within the system when the masses could literally liberate themselves from this bourgeois government.
Yep. So, and the thing is, it's like, and I understand a lot of us, we talk about these problems, and my thing is like, it's really more an appeal to somebody like a Crystal Ball or a Ryan Grimm to say, start talking to people like us that are working poor and poor on the ground, because our numbers are growing rapidly. And so this is why many of us say no to both parties, because they both do not care. And they will tout, oh, we're doing all these magnificent things. But in reality, like for instance, Joe Biden saying that he's trying to do all these things for the environment. Meanwhile, he's approving the Willow Project. It doesn't square, Do not give me a pile of doo-doo, put some sprinkles on it and call it chocolate ice cream. Stop serving me that.
Oh yeah.
Because that's exactly what they're doing. And it's like, well, if it wasn't for the Gaza issue, no, that's just one piece of it. You're saying, oh, if it wasn't for that, then Joe Biden would be, more popular. No. And this is why do you think 23% of Black voters are now siding with Trump?
And that's one of the saddest things I've seen.
That's crazy.
It's
the crazy part. I'm sorry, and you.
No, you keep going. No, you keep going.
Like how many Latinos now are going, you know what? I think I'm going to side with Trump on this one.
Too many. Latinos for Trump was a big thing, even with the last election. Now it is this one. It's, I also think he pulls at the Catholic nationalism that was pushed on our people due to Spanish imperialism. And I think that really tugs on our chords. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Keep going. There was something I was going to say before, but keep going.
Here's the Real Clear Politics. So what they do is Real Clear Politics is that they take an aggregate, because, polls can be skewed in one way or another. So it takes the average of the aggregate polls right now. Look, we all know how trash Trump is, right? Here, Trump is beating Biden by 1.8 points, 47.6% to 45.8%. Biden should be beating Trump into a pulp if he actually did what he actually promised that he would do when he was running.
This should be an open and shut case, but it's not. Like the people should be amped about not getting Trump back in with Project 2025, but with how everything is, it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, you didn't even do anything last time. You actually made things worse. But I also want to answer this chat. It says people on $34 an hour don't blame the government that they can't manage financially. In that video, she says she only worked 3 days. This is what those companies like to do. They would give you these high wages and then only give you like 2 or 3 days, and then you get amped about it. And then they don't even give you the benefits. So you got to look at the material conditions of what the person is working, because it's not like a 4-day a week, this, that, whatever. Like they are making $34 an hour, 3 days a week. And who knows, they might not even be working 8-day weeks. They didn't specify that. It could be seeing an hour like that is probably only like a 4-hour day or a 6-hour day. I did one of these jobs for Samsung. They were paying me $24 an hour, and I only did 21 hours a week. So you just got to be thinking about that. These companies are allowed to do that because of low government regulation, especially when you don't have a people state regulating these type of businesses and stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to answer that really quick. But yes, it should be easy for Biden. This should be an open and shut case. He was bad. Trump was not good. He started a war. He started a trade war with China and lost it. China wanted Trump to get in again, actually, with that second election cycle because they knew he would ruin the economy even more. But I guess it never. It doesn't even matter who won because Biden also brought that down. So I guess it doesn't matter who got into office. But they were actually saying if Trump gets in office, we will become #1 by the time he's in there. So it's like they were seeing that it was actually helping out their economy with that trade war. He failed it.
Yeah. And then this is Trump versus Biden versus Kennedy, West and Stein. So this is when you put the third parties together as well. Trump is still beating Biden, but he's beating him by a wider margin with the third parties taken in play. So if you look at this, Trump is at 41.1%, Biden's at 38.4%, RFK Jr. is at 12.7%, Dr. Cornel West is at 2.6%, and Dr. Jill Stein is at 1.7%.
So the thing that always, when I read this type of stuff, kind of rubs me the wrong way is like these people know that Biden was an issue and Trump, and they still just flip flop between these two, especially our communities. I don't get this. I do not get this practice of, okay, so I voted for him this time and he was bad, so I'm going to go with the other one of the big parties. It's like they keep working against you. Why don't you just try to go for a Jill Stein or Cornel West, even though I'm mad at Cornel West? Wait, what was? Oh yeah, he endorsed Navalny, and I saw some of those videos of Navalny making fun of Muslim people. It's like, yeah, he was in a good opposition against Russia, but like, I don't think he was the guy. I just had a thought. What was it? I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind over here. Okay, so we do have some chat in here, and I do want to say what I think is for this rise for Trump as well is kind of a subconscious thing because I think a lot more people are knowing, or at least subconsciously knowing, that we are about to go into a world war. In my opinion, we know it. There's big conflicts. We got France even saying we're going to put special troops in Ukraine and also training their troops for a high intensity combat situation with Russia itself. Not saying to help Ukraine. It says high intensity combat with Russia. We are preparing for a massive war, and what usually comes before a war is mass economic failures. Like throughout all of it, it just happens. When you got bad economic situations, people start getting desperate. They start getting nationalistic. They start getting, well, we could have a better time. We could have a better country. We could be great again. And then they get Trump in. So I think they feel like Trump would be a better option to lead in a World War III situation, which is absolutely insane, in my opinion. I don't think Biden would be good at all. But I think a lot of them are feeling that Trump would be better, especially for these coming wars, because we're also going to go to war with China, I believe, here within this decade. We will. This has been brewing for a very long time. And I think that's where the push for Trump's also coming from. They feel like he's going to be more coherent than Biden. And I'm not going to lie, both of them are scary to imagine them as leaders for this coming conflict. I don't know how all this is going to play out. I know I've been prepping, but it terrifies me. So I think that's where the Trump push is coming from too. Something that doesn't get talked about too much.
Yeah. So in regards to that, because a lot of times those of us who are on the left in this independent media space, some of the things that we typically talk about are the problems. What do you think is a viable solution for us on the ground who are divested away from the duopoly? What different solutions do you think is possible for us to just, because there's so many of us that feel hopeless when we hear this, because it's like, yes, we know the problems, we're able to diagnose the issue, but what do you feel is a good solution for us to help along our liberation?
Start easy. Leftists, anybody in the left sphere, we like to be socialists. What's the main word in that? Social. Look for groups, liberation groups near you. There are a lot of them. We have a Des Moines Black Liberation Group here. I want to get in contact with them and talk with them a little bit more. They were talking about even like 2 years ago when Roe v. Wade was taken out, they were saying we need to stop voting what we need to do is come together and actually do direct action to prevent this from happening, because the government doesn't help you anymore. So I would say find revolutionary groups. I would say find groups that, you know, are more of the left-wing sphere, and ask hard questions when you have conversations, when you talk to them, when you participate in like mutual aid. Start having some hard questions of where could we take this that helps the people of our community, and how can we connect with other communities in different states to build a network and a connection that inevitably shows the United States government that we are starting to become strong without them. And that doesn't mean we have to fight the US government. That doesn't mean we have to get airplanes to fly into them. We're just standing strong without you. That's what we have to build towards. And it's going to be very hard. I know it sounds silly, but like actually getting out and having conversations with people is hard, especially in this isolationist, individualist like economy country that we live in, how the cities are built. There's no trains that could take you to another one. You have to have cars to go anywhere. I would say try to find online spaces that have ground groups here in your cities near yourself, and try to see how you can help. And while also helping, be respectful, but also ask hard questions on how we can further these movements and groups to come together and really make a stand together.
So what are your thoughts about because there's a comrade that talks about pushing for ballot initiatives. He says to circumvent the politicians, push for citizen ballot initiatives. This could be a way to at least mitigate some of the damage to the working class. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not sure what that's about. That's actually a phrase I've first heard. Could you explain it a little bit more? What would that
Well,
be?
citizen
What
ballot
would that
initiative.
entail?
Well, citizen ballot initiatives, like for instance, there's going to be a ballot initiative here in Florida to fully legalize cannabis here. So instead of going through the legislator or going through Congress, state Congress, or going through the governor, it's actually going to be done through a ballot initiative process where all the voters on voting day on November 2nd, we actually vote either yes or no on the ballot in order to be able to have cannabis that's legalized within the state of Florida. It's similar to how we did.
Oh.
We actually passed $15 minimum wage here in Florida, despite it being a red state. So we did that by the people actually voting for it.
Yeah,
and so
that's cool.
passed.
Yeah, I
So-
support that 100%. Like if it's initiatives like
direct
that, oh yeah,
democracy.
do that. Like if that just takes a little time out of your day and actually get some of that stuff passed, cool. If your vote is for like a politician who says they will bring that about, no, don't do that. But those initiatives, I like that. That is actually because I like hearing direct votes from the people. Honestly, with how this exists, we should not have any excuse to even have the electoral college anymore. We have the capability of doing direct voting from this, and honestly this would be a lot more secure than like just normal voting ballots. There's a lot of encryption that go into these things, but those like direct civil like votes, we don't really get much of those around here in Iowa, but yeah, I would participate in it, especially for cannabis. All we have here is we can have Delta 9 gummies, and that's it. It works. It just tastes like, it tastes bad. It doesn't taste good.
I've had those before.
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to the earthiness.
Yeah. But no, I like that. If we had more initiatives like that over here, I would like, yeah, I'd participate in that. I think that's good.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to, so that segment is ended. I went a little over, my apologies, but there was a lot to talk about. If it's okay with you, I'm going to just go over a couple of chats really quick, and then we'll move on to our next segment.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. So if you guys have not already, go ahead and give the stream a like. That pushes me out into the algorithm. So thank you so very much for that. Also, just wanted to give a shout out to all the patrons on Patreon and on Coffee, with that, and the ones who send me anything via PayPal. Without you guys, I would not be able to do this type of work. Thank you so very much to all of you who help me out in keeping this channel going. It means the world to me. And yes, my channel is still demonetized. So if you guys like to support the channel, you can support via Patreon or PayPal. Thank you so very much for that. And by the way, in addition to, and furthermore, just to let you guys know, here are the tiers on Patreon if you would like to contribute as well. On Patreon, we have JB members, Solidarity, Comrade, Jaybefaunters, Super Jaybefaunters, Super Duper Jaybefaunters, and Mega Jaybefaunters. So thank you very much for that. And I would like to give a big shout out and thank you to new patron, Emma Beveridge. Thank you so very much for being a patron and supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to go to The Rock really quick. Rockfin.
Cool.
And I want to just read a couple of these chats, and then we'll get to the main chat, and then we'll answer these a couple of questions and respond. And then we will move on to our final segment. So here we go to The Rockfin. Solid like a rock. All right. So Laura Beza says, thank you, Valerie. Good lie means good liar. Could have taken shots. Both of them are scary. Yeah, Biden and Trump are both scary. Laura says, Valerie, loving the dark lipstick and nail color. Love your hairstyle too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And yes, I will share Valerie's Twitter. And Valerie also has a TikTok.
I do. The TikTok name is actually Maoist Valerie now.
Oh, okay, cool.
If some people, if they ever were on TikTok and on left, I used to be Avion, and that was a big. It got pretty big there for a while.
Yeah, that's how I discovered you. It was really great too. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go to the general chat. And my apologies if I missed some stuff, but I was deep into talking about everything that was said by Ryan Grimm and Crystal Ball. Ilhan R says Crystal Ball, a member of the PMC, along with Ryan Grimm. For those of you who don't know, PMC is basically professional managerial class. People who are, they are workers, but they are higher income workers that serve as a buffer to the owner class. So people like them, for them, the system works. So they're, more sympathetic to it. You have some that see the system for what it is and that they will go up against it. So not all PMCs are created equal in that way, but you have some that will stand with the workers because they are workers and they see what the system really is. But thank you so very much for that. I think my baby says, hey, Crystal, what does oh my gosh, I can't read that. I think go make me baby. That's yeah.
Holy shit.
I don't.
Okay, next one.
Yeah. Like I said, this is a family show. Katie Lewis says, as a rich white woman, I must say that Biden actually pretty good before he made me have to be concerned about brown children. Oh,
yes.
Oh, Katie.
Swinging.
Lena says there is a huge difference between begrudgingly calling for Biden's vote as solely an effort to avoid Trump and defeating Biden. Look, yeah, my thing is like we begrudgingly had to go for Al Gore. We begrudgingly had to go for John Kerry. We begrudgingly had to go for Barack Obama. We begrudgingly had to go for Hillary Clinton. We begrudgingly had to go for Joe Biden.
How long do we got to do this?
Like, where's the line? Like, where is the line for us? That's my biggest question.
That's actually the thing I've been trying to draw, especially with this election cycle.
Absolutely. Ilhanar says the only reason we're allowed to vote is because our votes doesn't matter. If it did matter, we wouldn't be allowed to vote. That's from Mark Twain. Said, dude, spell it out in the 1800s. Oof. I'm telling you. John Kemper, Blue Marble, I like to call him, says our entire government is full of genocidal Zionists. Well,
Verbatim.
yikes. Yep. Ghostnest says, yeah, the basics are going up and I have a budget extra to fit the EBT allowance. I'm not doing that anything that fancy either. No. Kenneth Ellison says, I don't see the money in my pocket. Ryan Grimm be lying. Oof. It's not looking for him. Mizu says, JB, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you calling Akira a racist like others? Oh gosh, don't get me started.
I do want to say,
Yeah,
in 6 minutes, I do got to be going.
Oh, okay. So so thank you very much for everybody in the chat. Let's get to this final segment here. This R.I.P. to a legend. So we're going to be talking about this. So at the age of 68, Akira Toriyama, who is famously known for being one of the primary animators and creator of Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super, has passed away yesterday. This was a massive, massive blow to the animation community. If anybody knows, figures like Goku is just about as famous as Mickey Mouse. You weren't a big watcher of Dragon Ball Z, but you were a watcher of some anime that was influenced by it, correct, Valerie?
Yes, and actually, I have watched a little bit of Dragon Ball Z. The first time I ever watched it was Dragon Ball Z Abridged. So I've seen the whole first Dragon Ball Z like that, and then my friend ended up showing me at a party. He was like, "Look, you got to start watching this. Look at this," and he showed me the fight between Goku and Jiren, I think is his name. Dragon
Ball Super.
Yeah, that was cool. I was like, I just looked at him. I was like, do they just keep fighting? He was like, yeah, it's just another level. It's another level. And I was like, I thought it was gonna end so long ago, but no, it's impressive artwork. I see why people really like this. It's I think is especially like Dragon Ball, very aesthetic and very nostalgic artwork, and I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I just want people to realize how influential Dragon Ball Z especially was, how much of an impact it had on the Black community, because like the Black community embraced this show like nobody's business. And when you look at this, okay, that is a baby.
I like that. It is.
Yeah.
I like the onesie. It's so cute.
Yeah, of course. It is awesome. So one of my things is and you can actually draw some theory from it, because when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, Frieza was a capitalist. He was pure and simple a capitalist. And when you look at how Frieza and his empire, basically bought and sold planets and used the Saiyan race, now you start to think about Black people, how they were essentially enslaved by Frieza through fear. So it really touched a lot with us Black folks. And of course, he was the animator for Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest. And so he did a lot in regards to that as well. And I'm just trying to make sure that how much time you got left,
I got 3 minutes. I will say I didn't know that that's what Dragon Ball Z was really about since I've only watched the abridged. So I'm going to be watching Dragon Ball Z and actually
Yeah,
giving it a go. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. If you want to skip the filler episodes, then go Dragon Ball Z Kai. But
Cool.
but yeah, so I would say that. But I'm gonna continue this segment. But if you can tell people like what you got coming up and where can they find you?
Where you can find me is on Twitter. It's CW Valerie underscore. Stands for Chairwoman Valerie. I am also on TikTok under Maoist Valerie. I'm going to be doing more videos again and really getting back out there on TikTok. I'm going to continue to do organizing in my area. And I'm just going to try to build a community and actually try to, practice what I preach. Um, you never really know what you can accomplish unless you do it. So, trying to give some people hope, I guess.
Yeah.
I need it. I need hope. I really need hope. Some days I could be really doomer, but yeah, that's what I got going on. And I would love to be on again sometime in the future if you'd have me.
Definitely. So I put Valerie's TikTok link also in the chat as well. So you guys can go ahead and give Valerie a follow. Valerie, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you for, blessing me with your presence on my little channel. It is so much appreciated.
No, thank you for having me. This was great. You're so much fun to talk to. And we talked about some important things, I think, in my opinion. It was needed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Definitely.
having me on.
Thank you so much. I will see you in the interwebs, comrade.
See you there.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So I just want to continue on this as well. When it comes to Dragon Ball Z, like Akira Toriyama just influenced the Black community like nobody's business. I just want to share this with you guys too. This is fun.
But they call me Broku, and I still come through with a shout to your back like a slow bro. You know how I go, bro. You know that I've been high. Girl looking at me, that you call him senpai. And I'm laughing every time. I'm just rapping with the rhymes. You know I come through and smash them all. Hey yo, they're scared to say my name like Lord Voldemort. Hey yo, I come through. You know I got the perfect picture. These niggas like Harry Potter, the way they follow snitches. I still come through when I lay up in ditches. A nigga like me, I ain't playing around. I still come through. I'm laying it down. Hey yo, this year Halloween fell on a weekend. So me and Elsie is fucking to a tree in. Someone said I look just like the weekend. I said, boy, I'm Black Goku, you must be tweaking.
I love it, man. Look, those of us who, okay, so one of my biggest things that I loved, right, was, okay, so if you guys ever watched Dragon Ball Z, like what was your favorite arc? Mine personally was the Majin Buu arc. And that's when Vegeta actually sacrificed his life, right? That was a major character arc for someone like Vegeta. This also introduced us to the fusions, right? You had Gotenks, you had Vegito. Of course, Gogeta was in Fusion Reborn, which my favorite Dragon Ball Z movie. But of course, I was talking to my boyfriend, and he was saying how his favorite arc was the Cell games. Cell games was for him, and that arc was massive because that's where it ushered Gohan into being like Gohan was him, right? And so it was crazy. Let me share some other pieces as well, because there's some stuff that Akira Toriyama was highly influential over, the last, I would say, especially 30 years. That's how big he has been. Let me see. Okay. So I'm going to share a tweet that I put out so you guys can see this as well. This is how big Akira Toriyama is for people who don't know. Even the Chinese government is reacting to Akira Toriyama's passing. That's how big this is. He created one of the most recognizable characters in animation. Goku is as iconic as Mickey Mouse. And then also, I want to share this. Here's Akira Toriyama with his buddy Jackie Chan. Like, Akira Toriyama was him. Like, what? Okay, Vicious E says favorite was Cell Saga. His first timeline was dark. The androids were as bad as the idea. Oh yeah. The Android 16 and 17. Wow. I'm sorry, 17 and 18. And in the depth of 16, that sent Gohan over the edge. And that's how he became an Ascended Saiyan or a Super Saiyan 2. That one was just like, what? And then I want to share this as well. For those of you who are anime fans, he's one of the reasons why anime is as big as it is now. This tweet says, without Toriyama, we don't get all of these. And so you don't get Naruto, you don't get Bleach, you don't get Yu Yu Hakusho, you don't get Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't get any of these people. You do not get none of them without Akira Toriyama, because he influenced that many people. Some of the most famous animes on Earth were influenced by Akira Toriyama. That's why, I'm going to tell you right now, that's why everybody is calling him Sensei. Because he taught people, right? And Akira Toriyama was only 68 when he died. So, also, let me share this as well. Let me see. Because I have, I wanted to share something funny. I don't think I'm going to get a copyright claim for this. I hope not. I know it's, they say when in doubt, don't. But it's just funny to me because Stephen A. said this. So let me share this what Stephen A. said. Because you can tell Stephen A. did not watch Dragon Ball Z. This is hilarious. Stephen A. says this.
At EBSC93 writes, who you taking in a 1 versus 1? Goku or Vegeta from Dragon?
Hold up! Vegeta. Steven. Bruh. At least learn how to pronounce the name. It's Vegeta. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad they didn't put Kakarot in there. Oh my God. Can you imagine him trying to pronounce Kakarot?
Dragon Ball. First of all, my condolences. I saw the news alerts that this individual has passed away. So the creator of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, some of the most influential and best-selling Japanese comics of all time, that is the person that has died at the age of 68. Akira Toriyama suffered an acute subdural hematoma, a type of bleeding near the brain, they say. This is what word came out from his studio. this Friday. So my condolences out to him and the best wishes to his family and loved ones. Obviously, hope God blesses his soul and he's up in a higher place.
Which I have to give, some props to Stephen A for giving him, a condolences. That's cool. Okay. And you can pronounce Toriyama. You couldn't pronounce Vegeta? I don't mean to pick on him. I'm just busting his chops, but it's just kind of funny, it's kind of funny, and it's like, come on now, Come on, Steven. I know you can do better than that.
In terms of who I'm taking, Goku or Vegeta from.
Oh, you said it again. He said it again. Oh, somebody, look, somebody call their uncle. Somebody call their uncle Vegeta. Oh, man. Vegeta. Oh, well. Nobody's perfect, though. But let me also share this as well. Oh, boy. I want to share a couple of things. Oh my gosh, this scene right here, just, I'm only just going to play a few seconds, but those of y'all who know, boy, this.
I can't do that. I won't watch anymore. I feel it slipping. And I won't watch this anymore!
Oh, baby, when that moment happened, you knew what time it was. You knew. You were like, yo, me as a teenager, I was like, and then, by the way, this all happened when I was 14. Toonami on Cartoon Network, that's when I got to know Dragon Ball Z. And the Frieza saga, when that happened, when Goku first turned Super Saiyan, oh my God. And by the way, this is back in the day where we still had to watch it on VHS tapes. One of my homeboys got the Frieza saga on VHS, uncensored. That's important because the censored version was played on Toonami. But if you got the VHS tapes, you got the uncensored version, right? So you got the part where Frieza with one of his horns and Krillin and ride him cowboy. Y'all know, those of you know, And then, because I got to be careful on YouTube, but that part, and then when Frieza basically took out Krillin after Goku put the spirit bomb on him, and then he lost because he incapacitated gosh, I'm forgetting names. Piccolo wasn't actually dead, but took him out, and then he destroyed Krillin, which is Goku's best friend. Next thing you know, he went off, and then he became Super Saiyan for the first time. That was right. And then another moment was when Vegeta sacrificed his life, and he said he was doing it for Bulma and for Trunks, and then he said yes, even for you, Kakarot. And one of my biggest moments that actually really touched me was during the Buu saga when they were on the planet of the Kais, and then Vegeta actually confessed and said, Kakarot, you are the best. I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry because I was just like, oh my gosh. Vegeta actually admitted that Goku was the best. I'm telling you, man, Akira Toriyama was massive. And so his passing was just a tragedy, an unexpected one, because he was still doing projects for Dragon Ball. I think his latest one was Dragon Ball Dima. His latest movie, Dragon Ball movie, was Dragon Ball Superhero. He was also overseeing Dragon Ball Super, which brought in, it started with Battle of Gods, then Resurrection F, then Dragon Ball Super Broly, and then now Dragon Ball Superhero. So now, it's just, that's my childhood, man. Especially, it came around when I was a teenager, man. This was, yeah. Oh boy. Let me see. So Jack Hemming said, my children were into Dragon Ball Z and now my grandchildren are into it. Yeah. 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 It's a lot of people, man. Retro Gamer says, I was more into Pokemon with the original Ash and Misty of Brock. You must be a younger millennial or a Gen Z gamer. Because Dragon Ball Z was introduced to US audiences before Pokemon. So, yeah. Katie says Dragon Ball Z abridged is goated. Yeah. R.I.P. Rafael Alarier says, I got the Kakarot video game. Good stuff. Oh, and in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, everybody online actually is doing the pose for giving their energy for the Spirit Bomb just for Akira Toriyama. It's massive. Yes. Katie Lewis said Frieza's favorite slur was monkey. Frieza called the Saiyans monkeys. And what do they like to call us black people? Yup. I'm telling you. Casey said my kid introduced me to anime with Black Butler, Sailor Moon, and a bunch of others, but that was 6 years ago. I can't remember. Okay. Yeah. Grunge Lizard says great teacher. Onyazuka is an amazing anime too. Yeah. I gotta talk to my nephew about this because he's big into anime too. Kenneth says Frieza is a space Napoleon Nazi that committed genocide across the galaxy. Yep. What's the difference between Frieza and Netanyahu? I'm just saying. Okay. Katie says Android Arc was his favorite. Oh, when Android 18 basically she violated Vegeta with his left arm. That's why for the rest of the series, Vegeta's always holding his left arm first. Oh, that was rich. Oh man, she humbled him. She humbled the hell out of him. Vicious E says Cell Saga. Okay. Yeah, I already read that. You see, R.I.P. Rafayette says Jackie Chan, despite being from Hong Kong, is a Marxist. Really? I did not. He's a Marxist? Jackie Chan? I mean, cool. I just didn't think of it. Casey said Attack of the Titans was, yeah. Attack. Oh, I think it's Attack on Titan. I think that's it. Ghost Nest says animation is a great example. People can make great things work together. Yeah. And imagine the stories that people can come up with if they didn't have to worry about housing, healthcare, education, things like that, right? When people can actually do what's deeply in their minds and hearts and actually work at that craft. Imagine how many more Akira Toriyamas we could have if people didn't have to worry about trying to survive. Just saying. Good to see you, Tim. Nice to have you. All right. Let me see. Javier said he sounds like a dad that doesn't get it but wants to be nice to his kid. Yeah. That's why I don't. That's why I give him props for that. You know, that's why I got to give him props. Danny says JB will make my day if you looked up some pictures of the actor Toby Bantifa. You look exactly like him. Who's Toby Bantifa? Hang on. I don't know who this. You think I look like this guy? This guy looks better than me. What the hell? Hang on. Toby Bantifa. Nah, this dude's handsomer than me. What are you talking about? I mean, thank you. But nah, this dude better looking than me. What are you talking about? Though I can rock that hairstyle though. I've never heard of this guy before. I don't look like this guy, do I? He looks better than me. Thank you. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it. Never heard of him before, but now I know. Oh, Tim Price says, my friend and I used to watch DBZ in the early 90s when it was hard to find. Oh, okay. I see. Katie says, after that, Gohan went to decimate Cell Juniors. Oh, yeah. When he bodied them. Yeah, Javier says DBZ went hard in Japan. Oh, yeah. Good to see you, whatever, man. Let me see. Okay. All right. I'll take it. All right. Let me see. All right. So I'm trying to see. Okay. Now, in addition to a stream, I will be doing Tuesday. So I'll be, live on Tuesday. I will be getting into the reading next of Water in the Spirit, Ritual Magic, and Life in the Life of an African Shaman. Sorry, I can't read today. So thank you so much. I'll be getting into reading for that. So stay tuned for that. Last night, I put out another reading for The Will to Change, Men, Masculinity, and Love by Bell Hooks. So go ahead and take a look at that. I just put out recently. And then I will be getting into further reading of Laziness Does Not Exist by Dr. Devon Price as well. So I'll be getting into those soon as well to continue into reading. I'm trying to be more consistent with that. So thank you so much for bearing with me in that as well. Also, if you guys have not, we're also trying to raise money for two things. One, we're trying to help out a comrade right now. She is going through a lot right now. She's trying to raise money for her water bill. I think she said as of recent she got $110 so far. So just trying to assist her in that as well. So if you guys have not, then you guys can also give her some assistance with that too. That would be very much appreciated. I'm going to share the tweets that I put out. So mutual aid alert. We have a neighbor without water. Her past due balance is $783.27. No water to drink. Keep clean or flush the toilet. If anyone can help, please donate or share. Her bill is shown here. And so I'm going to share her PayPal and her Venmo just in case anybody would like to help her out with that, if at all possible. So if you are just hearing about this and you want to assist her with that, and her electric bill is also coming up. So it's rough out here for all of us. It's rough out here for me. It's rough out here for her. It's rough out here for so many of us that are dealing with a lot. So there you go. I put it in the chat. If you guys can help her out with that as well. And let me share the picture, because this is her bill that she shared with me. Of course, she's in Winter Park, which is not too far from me. And then she actually, she wrote on her PayPal, her Venmo and PayPal as well. I put the links in the chat though, just in case. So there you go, if you guys would like to assist her with that. So thank you so very much. Also, what we're doing is we are raising money for our next action for Orlando chapter. If you guys have not, we actually are trying to raise $1,200. So if you guys would like to, you guys can actually donate to that. It's at Orlando. It's at $ Orlando RBN on Cash App. So let me share that with you guys too. So and we're going to be giving care packages again, toiletry care packages. And if we have any extra, then we're going to try to do some gift cards or something like that for food. But yes, if you guys can help us out with that, then you guys can go to Orlando RBN. And we're trying to do that as well. That means the most, for us to be able to help out our unhoused neighbors in the neighborhood too. So really appreciate it. So with that being said, my stream has went over a little bit, but look, worse things have happened in the world. We shall be okay. I just want to thank Valerie for coming on, for lending her political and Maoist analysis, in breaking down what people like Crystal Ball and Ryan Grimm, I would say, have missed. There's a lot of us that are going through it, and there is a greater majority of us that are going through it than ever before. I would highly recommend and implore people like Crystal Ball and Ryan Grimm to talk to people who are working poor. And by working poor, I mean those of us that are working, people who are working custodial jobs, people who are working, jobs as drivers. Those of us who are working, I know it's famous, everybody talks about baristas, but yes, baristas. People who are working behind the counters at a Wendy's, right? Those of us who are working, for theme parks, like here in Orlando. There's so many of us that are going through it. And a lot of people will say, but the economy, it's doing okay. Or when people say, but you just have to focus on the messaging. No amount of messaging is going to improve my bank account. I want to make that very clear. No amount of messaging is going to lower my rent. No amount of messaging is going to increase the pay in my paycheck. No amount of messaging is going to improve my healthcare. This is why tangibles are necessary. And for those tangibles to happen, you actually have to do actual action in order for it to happen. And you can say, well, he's doing this for the NLRB and he's cutting taxes for, you know, people who make below $400,000 a year and all these different things. We're not feeling it. We don't feel it. We don't see it. And even if we do feel it or see it, it's like a feather on the skin. You look to see if something touched you. And in reality, it's nothing weighty or of true substance there. So you're telling us to accept or say, oh, if it wasn't for the genocide, nah. It's the genocide and not the genocide or. So please start talking to workers on the ground who are actually feeling the pinch, because to us, there is no difference between Biden and Trump. And in fact, because of how bad things have gotten, the only reason why some people are reminiscing about the Trump years is because it's in chronologically in the past, meaning our dollar actually went further under Trump than it did under Biden. Not that Trump was actually better, but it's just because people want to turn back the clock. So I encourage you to speak to people like me and people in my audience. So, with that being said, water your plants, water yourselves, leave the world better than you found it. Smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them. If you ain't got them, then watch something funny, because joy is revolutionary. Watch some Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super. Look, now you could watch Dragon Ball GT. I mean, Akira Toriyama was consulted for it, but he didn't actually write it. So, take it with a grain of salt. But Z, Super, oh, especially in the Tournament of Power, Autonomous Ultra Instinct, that's that form. Anyway, but watch something, because joy is revolutionary. Or if you want, you can read the mangas. Just read the mangas. All right? I love you for watching. Thank you so very much for being here with me. Mwah! Forehead kisses to every single one of you. I'll catch you on the next one. Free Haiti, free Sudan, free Tigray, free Ethiopia, free Puerto Rico, free Cuba, free Palestine. Free the world, baby. Free the world. Happy Saturday, everybody. Night, night. Thank you so very much for watching my channel, and I deeply appreciate it from the top and bottom of my heart. If you wish to support the channel further, so I can keep bringing you content that is educational and informative, you can become a patron on patreon.com/Jaybefaunt. You can find that link in the pinned comment or in the description below. No matter what you give, you'll be supporting independent media and education that helps make the world better. Thank you so much, and you can watch more of my content here. Mwah. Forehead kisses, and have a beautiful day.